Hello, hello, the doc is in, and welcome back to another chapter of Tokyo Revengers. I don't remember the page number, but that is not important. In last chapter, we basically saw a couple more conclusions of fights. Senju has been knocked out. Akun has won his fight. Inupi is fighting Wakasa and Benkei at the same time. Well, he's going to be fighting both of them. It seemed like Benkei was just going to hop in, but we'll find out more about that in this chapter. And we see a little bit of Takemichi versus Kokucho. And with that being said, let's hop into this chapter. Alright, so the first page of the chapter, we got Inupi facing off against Wakasa and Benkei at the same time. Like I said, in the last chapter, it kind of seemed like Benkei was just switching out Wakasa, but it seems like they're both just fighting them at the same time. And Coco's basically in the background, basically being like, are you insane? You can't fight these two legends. Like, you're not going to be able to win. And Inupi's basically like, I'll beat them both up, right? They're both getting on my nerves. And you know what? You want make me angry, because I'll really turn into Inupi from the Black Dragons. So Inupi throws two good hits on Wakasa and Benkei, right? And then he starts yelling at Wakasa and Benkei. Basically is like, what's wrong with you two? Alright? This is not what Shinichiro would have wanted, for you guys to be over here fighting with Mikey in this negative manner. Shinichiro was a better guy than that. And basically, Wakasa and Benkei kind of have like a solemn moment for a second. They're kind of like thinking back, thinking about I imagine thinking about their actions and thinking about Shinichiro. And Inupi's basically being like, you know, this isn't deserving of a first generation Black Dragon. In your hearts, you're a first generation Black Dragon, and so am I. And so we should both be on the side of Takemichi. Anybody who's on this other side is doing the wrong thing. And basically, he even makes a mention that the second generation of Tokyo Manji gang has the same spirit as the first generation of the Black Dragons. And Coco's kind of shocked by this. And I feel like it was a great statement, because the fact of the matter is Takemichi's always compared to Shinichiro, so him leading his own gang should have the same vibe as Shinichiro's original gang. You follow? And Inupi, after saying all this, basically declares he'll never lose the Kanto Manji gang. I mean, now given there's no way he's going to be able to beat Wakasa and Benkei at the same time by himself, so with his speech, he is now basically trying to convince Coco and Wakasa and Benkei to basically give up fighting with Kanto Manji gang and basically join their side, because otherwise he is going to lose. There's no way he's going to beat them one-on-one. I mean, 2v1 is not going to happen. And I mean, Coco's not known for being a fighter, so 2v1, but 3v1 theoretically. And so after all this, we have Coco basically being in his head, and he's like, oh, well, you know, normally I would help Inupi out, but, you know, that was back in the day. Like, today, this is a different day, alright? And his sister over Inupi any day, right? I could never choose Inupi as, like, someone more important than his sister, who is dead, and whatnot. And from there, we just cut away. You know, Coco's having his little existential crisis. And we see Mikey sitting on the grate, and he basically tells Hama, get in the action. And Hama pulls down his mask, and there's actually nothing wrong with his face. He just looks normal, and he's basically like, bet. So Mikey's basically told his boy, come in here and start throwing hands. And Hama pulls up, and he's basically like, alright, anybody who won their fight, tell him to fight me, alright? He's living up to a Reaper's name. Anybody close to death's door is about to get reaped. I mean, 4v4. We're talking Hakai, not Chifuyu. Well, actually, yeah, Chifuyu, Hakai, Chifuyu, Mitsuya, and Akun. They're the four people who've mainly won their fights, right? Like, their major fights. And now they gotta fight Hama all by themselves. Well, all four of them against Hama. I mean, now Hama has some good feats. Alright, he fought against Draken. Now, given Draken got serious, I mean, shit got crazy. When Mikey got serious against Hama, things got crazy. But there's definitely, you know, he's known for being like a zombie, like taking mad hits and stuff. So I mean, 4 people close to death's door against a fresh Hanma, I mean, that might be a rough fight. But I mean, we'll see what happens. And going from there, we cut back to the fight between Wakasa and Benkei and Inupi, and Coco being on sidelines. And basically, as I said, Anupi states no teams against both of them at the same time. So even though his speech was heartfelt, it made them take a pause for a second. They do decide to still retaliate against Anupi, and Benkei hits Anupi right in the face. Wakasa kicks Anupi in the chest, and I mean, Anupi once again, he's not looking like he's gonna survive. And so at this point, Anupi's like directly speaking to Koko. At this point, he's like, "Hey, help me, my man, help me. I'm going to lose. Aren't we friends? Like, what's the deal?" And Anupi's like, "I can't be switching sides. You know, it'd be the wrong thing to do. I'd be in so much trouble." And basically, the spirit of Anupi's sister, I believe her name's Akane, she's basically like, you know, thank you for, like, you know, trying to help me, whatever, and like allow me to like somewhat live vicariously through you and all that nonsense. But, you know, do the right thing. And so basically, she like thanks him, basically says, all your efforts were not for naught. I appreciate them. Now, if you could just do me a favor. And so Koko basically is about to decide to help Anupi, and as Benkei is about to throw a heavy hit straight to Anupi, Koko comes in with the right and knocks Benkei out, or at least he falls on the ground. I mean, maybe he's not necessarily knocked out, but it seems like he's knocked out, which is kind of crazy because I mean, Koko never came off as a guy who's physical, but hey, power friendship go crazy, right? And so Anupi's all happy, like, "Hey, Koko helped me out," and Koko still got a beat of sweat on him, but he's just like, you're an annoying guy. And so, final part of the chapter. Now, this is the crazy part, alright? This chapter overall, pretty lax, pretty normal, pretty chill, pretty cool. This part, this blew me out the water, alright? So, prep yourself, alright? And so, we got Pa pulling up on Mikey. And so Mikey gives him like the death glare right from behind. He's like, "Oh, it's you." And Pa's like, "I'll be the one to send you to your end." I'm like, "Hey, yo, alright?" I mean, you gotta think, and basically it's like properly confirmed. Mikey and Pa are going to be going head up, alright? And this is crazy because I mean, in all my predictions in previous videos, I mean, go check them out, but every time I mentioned it, I was like, okay, Mikey's not going to get involved until after Takemichi beats Kikucho, and then he's going to go straight to Mikey, because everybody else will be, every other commander of Mikey's will already be preoccupied or defeated or whatever, right? Well, apparently that's not the case. Pa, who basically left the series in the very, very beginning of the story, and though was considered very strong by Mikey and everybody else, never really got to show strength until very recently in this fight, and in flashbacks, of course, being that, you know, he was considered pretty strong in his own right early on in his delinquent career. And so, yeah, we're gonna see Pa try to fight Mikey. Now, fighting Mikey in any capacity, whether it be a little sparring match or seriously trying to kill him, your ass is gonna get beat. All right, they don't call him the undefeatable Mikey, the invincible Mikey, for no reason. It's because he simply doesn't lose. Like, he just puts hands on people in a vicious and very tyrannical manner. All right, so Pa coming in looking kind of crazy. Now, given Pa showing in this fight, he didn't fight anybody main. He didn't have any main fight, but he was putting hands on a lot of people by himself. Well, not by himself, but with his Vice-Kata. Hey. So, I mean, this is Pa's chance to show off. Now, of course, I know for a fact he's not going to win against Mikey, but I'm definitely curious to see, just, like, is this going to be super one-sided? Like, is he just going to get knocked out, like, immediately? Or is he really going to, like, put up a fight? Because, I mean, we know Pa definitely has, like, he definitely has some, like, resilience. He can stand up on his own. Because when he was fighting that one guy early in the very beginning of the story, the guy who was the leader of Mobius by himself, he was getting washed, but he stayed on his feet. He was knocked out while standing, but he stayed on his feet. So, fighting against Mikey, I mean, Mikey has some deadly kicks, and he just has normal hands. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But that's about it for the chapter. Hanma getting involved, I mean, this definitely shows that we're heading off into the direction of, like, you know, the main plot points, because now that Hanma's getting involved, now we kind of see like, okay, you know, Hanma's important to the overall story, like very, very important. So him showing up at this point means that, you know, sooner than later, we're gonna get an explanation of this other, like the whole underplot of like time travel and all that stuff. And besides that, that's about it. I mean, Coco seems to have switched sides. Wakasa's not down, and considering that Wakasa's not down, I imagine Benkei might not also be down, so we might get a Inupi Coco versus Wakasa and Benkei fight. I think that's going to be the next fight that's going to be like confirmed. But yeah, that's about it for the chapter. Leave a like on the video if you liked the video. If you disliked the video, leave a dislike. You want to comment on something, have thoughts, theories, whatever, just want to say I did a good job on the video, feel free to leave a comment. And subscribe if you're feeling really, really, really generous. I appreciate all subscriptions. And with that all being said, the doc is out. Peace.